Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most recent news in the NFL, as there's been a trade in the NFL as the Pittsburgh Steelers are trading for veteran wide receiver of the Los Angeles Rams, Allen Robinson III. Spent last season with the Rams, one of his worst seasons in the league, besides his 2017 season where he only played one game because of injury. It was probably one of his worst seasons in the NFL. Was expected to do great things, be a great replacement for OBJ, and just did not live up to those expectations. He played 10 games, 10 starts, 15 targets, 33 receptions, 339 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. Then in 2021, so he played 4 years with Chicago. In 2021, before that, with the Rams, he played 4 years with Chicago. He played 12 games, 11 starts with Chicago in 21, 66 targets, 38 receptions, 410 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. And then in 2020, 16 games, 16 starts, 102 receptions, 1,250 receiving yards. Was an elite wide receiver that season and the year before. Had 6 receiving touchdowns that season. Then 19 with the Bears. He had 16 games, 15 starts, and had 98 receptions and 1,147 receiving yards with 7 receiving touchdowns. And then his first year with the Bears, he had, in 18, he had 94 targets, 55 receptions, 754 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. Then 2017, like I said, was a rough year. Only played 1 game, got injured in week 1 with 1 reception. And then 2016 was another good year, 16 games, 16 game starts. Got targeted 150 times, 73 receptions, 885 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. And then his best season in the NFL was in 2015, in his second year of the league, with 16 games, 16 game starts, 151 targets, 80 receptions, 1,400 receiving yards, and 14 receiving touchdowns. Monster numbers in 2015 for Allen Robinson III. Let's go over the details of the trade. So Allen Robinson and pick 251, which is the 6th rounder in the 2023 draft, are heading to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and pick 234 is heading to the LA Rams. So a 7th round pick swap of 17 picks. So the Rams are trading up 17 spots in the 6th round in the draft and getting rid of most of Allen Robinson's contract. So basically, the Steelers pay of $5 million of Allen Robinson's contract, and then the Rams pay for $10 million of it. So I will say, it sucks that they had to pay 10 out of that 15 mil, but at least they got the Steelers to pay some of it. And for the Steelers, I think this is a W trade. I mean, they're only moving down 17 spots in the 6th round, which at that point, the 6th round doesn't even matter. And moving down 17 spots and getting Allen Robinson with it, I think he's going to be a great addition for the Steelers in their offense. They have George Pickens, they have Deontay Johnson, but they don't really have a 3rd wide receiver with those 2 young guys. They had to start the season for most of the season, middle of the season. They had Claypool with Johnson and Pickens, but Claypool got traded to the Bears, and they didn't have a real number 3, and now they got that with Allen Robinson. This should be another weapon for Kenny Pickett. The bad thing for Kenny Pickett with this trade, is yes, Allen Robinson will be a great weapon for Pickett, but I think this should eliminate the Steelers from drafting Jordan Addison, former teammate of Kenny Pickett in college. And I think there was a chance that they would maybe reunite with the Steelers, but after this trade, I don't really see that happening. You already got 3 wide receivers in the wide receiver room that should be starters, unless they bring in a 4th with Jordan Addison to pair up with Deontay, who should be starting all 3 of those guys I just mentioned, with Robinson, Johnson, and Pickens. Pickens, they're all guys who will be starting every game of the season, most likely. And then to pick someone at 17 who has a lot of talent, but you'll barely play them, or they will barely start, just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I think that most likely the Steelers will stick to the O-line or the defense with their first-round selection with the 17th pick. You guys have your thoughts on the trade? I keep saying signing. You guys have your thoughts on the trade? A decent trade for both squads. Rams get rid of that contract, but they do have to pay $10 million off. Jump 17 picks in the 6th round, which is not a huge deal, but it's decent for. They honestly they were in a position where they were almost in the area where they might have had to cut Allen Robinson. So to get that out of it was pretty decent. But we shall see what happens with Allen Robinson in the 2023 season for him and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I expect a way bigger year for him in 23 than he had in 22 with the Rams. Do you guys have any thoughts on the trade? That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.